What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Hidden Hollow Homestead. And I've got a video that I've been thinking about today for a year. And I made a TikTok last night on the same subject and decided it was time to do this. So I want to talk about how we didn't have to buy beef for 5 months almost. So I decided last summer to take up deer hunting. And I want to make a video on how cheap it is, or how affordable it is, to get out there and go deer hunting. So I said last year during the summer, I decided, you know what? I want to get into deer hunting. We live in Northeast Oklahoma. There's 30-something thousand acres of public use land all over around me. In fact, I have walking distance to where I hunt the majority of the time. I don't drive. I walk. I cross the river behind our property, and I hunt back there. It's a 3,000-something acre tract right there that I hunt on. So we processed 3 deer last year, and that provided the meat from us and our oldest son from the middle of October until May. We didn't buy any red meat except for one brisket. All of our ground, all of our steaks, all of our fajitas, all of our chop was all deer. We processed tallow off of those deer. It saved us a ton of money. With ground beef going up to $6 a pound at this point, we're going to be using a lot more. I just want to take y'all through everything I bought last year to get out into the woods. It was not super expensive in my opinion. I did the math yesterday and came out to around $1,200. I know I spent less than that because I got my camo from, I got a piece from Temu, I got a piece from Facebook Marketplace, I got a piece from the thrift store. But today I'm going to use my son's stuff that we bought at Walmart. Because he decided during gun season that he was going to hunt with us. So when it comes to deer hunting, there's a ton of content already out there on where to find deer and whatnot. But to start off with, I want to break this into 3 segments. I want to start off with what you need pre-season, what you need to hunt, and what's nice to have. So here in Oklahoma, our deer season is from October 1st through January 15th for archery, with a 2-week break in the middle there, the week before and after Thanksgiving for rifle season. And then I can only hunt rifle on public land for 1 week of that, the first week. So that's what we did last year. This year I do have access to some private land that I'm excited about. I'll be able to hunt for that second week of rifle, because rifle is quite enjoyable. So I took a deer, my first deer was actually the 3rd time I sat. It was deer in October. I went out and my first night out there, or my first time out there, no idea what I was doing. I sat in a spot, didn't see anything. As I was walking back out, saw a big group of deer. I said, okay, cool. I moved down there and I sat in a chair the next day, saw 1 deer too far away to take a shot at. Cool. Set up a tree stand out there that afternoon that we had that was sitting on the side of our shop when we moved here. Went out and sat that tree stand the next Saturday and took my first deer. I called him a unicorn. It was a little spiked, little bitty 3.5-inch long horn on one side. That was our first deer. And I learned a lot with that deer. It was a super exhilarating moment to take that shot and watch the deer go 30 yards and collapse. Come down from that and realize I had no idea what to do next. I had not prepared. I had not watched a video on how to skin or anything this deer. So that was a good time. My brother-in-law and son came out and helped me haul that deer out, and I'm in the middle of watching a YouTube video and field dressing this deer that we then brought home and prepped on our porch in the light of our one working porch light at the time. It was a great time, great experience. We'll never do that again. But anyway, let's get into first what you need to start deer hunting this year, right now, in the preseason, to get ready. So the very first thing that I bought was this bow. It's a Killer Instinct Boss 405. I bought it on Amazon, and it was $259 right now. If you were to go order one, you could order it today, be here the day after tomorrow on Prime. A lot of folks in the archery world don't love crossbows, and I understand their point, kind of, not really, but this is the cheapest way to get into it and get out there and hunt. You can buy this $259 crossbow and you can hunt from October 1st to January 15th. and in that time you can take your 6 deer. This is exactly how the bow comes, except for this stock. This is an AR-15 stock that I had laying around that I put on here because I didn't particularly love the one that was on it, but the one that was on it worked fine. But it's been a great crossbow, like I said. I thoroughly enjoy shooting it, and shooting it was easy, but it does come with this optic, so it's a 4x zoom optic that comes with it, and it came with like 4 arrows with field tips on it. And when you first get started, that's all you're gonna need. You're gonna get out there, you're gonna buy a crossbow, you're gonna buy a bag, and set that up in your backyard, find somewhere, go to a field, a park 30 yards away or so, and start just practicing. And that's exactly what I did from when I bought this bow. I think it was the end of August last year until the last week of September. I had this bow, that bag. I ordered these 20-inch Amazon arrows. They're a 300 grain arrow, comes with a 125 grain field tip on it, and then they're called bios. They're cheap. It's $27 for a 12 pack of these arrows. And then I shot the Muzzy 4-blade MX4 broadheads. I bought 2 packs of these over the season, but I have 3, which is 1 pack going into the next season. $27 piece. So you got $27 for 12 arrows, $27 for 3 broadheads, which is enough for 3 deer. So before the season starts, you're going to want to shoot the arrow you're shooting, but not with a broadhead, with a field tip, into your target, because this arrow flies vastly different than the arrows that came with this crossbow. So there's a process of zeroing in a crossbow or whatever, or a rifle or anything else, before you start hunting with it. And this is everything. So the bag was on Amazon as well, 52 bucks. The arrows were 27, broadheads 27, bow was 259. And you can buy all of those things right now and start shooting and get confident and comfortable and start watching videos and figure out where you're going to hunt to put meat in the freezer this year. Alright, so once your season gets here, it's going to be entirely dependent on your state. Here, I believe it was 70 something bucks for my hunting license and my deer tags for the year here in Oklahoma. First thing you're going to buy, I think, like I said, mine was $70, something along those lines. And then you're going to need camo. So let's start with camo. This is something that in the hunting world is so expensive. It can be so expensive. It absolutely doesn't have to be. The mountains of deer over the years have been taken in red checkered flannel and blue jeans. I do a little bit more than that, but not a ton. So we have a hoodie, because it gets pretty cold here in the morning. This is $25. So all this is Walmart's Realtree Apex line. We have the shirt. $22. The pants were the most expensive part at $40. We have a bag, which was, I don't remember how much the bag was. I'll have to look that up. But I used the bag to carry a water bottle. I had an old Nalgene that I carry in there that I've had for years, that I'm replacing this year with a water bladder just for a little bit less bulk. But I think the bag was like $17 or $20, super cheap. It's a really small bag. It's the size of my arm. Small bag, just enough to carry some snacks and some whatever into the field with you. Then we have headlamp. So I have multiple of these. I've gotten them from Uline over the years. They're Costa, whatever. They're like 15 bucks, 5 bucks, 10 bucks. Who knows? They're cheap. My son bought this beanie that has an LED light built into it, because when we're going out in the mornings it's dark. He bought a set of gloves that were $15. You're going to want a pair of gloves because there's a lot of prickly, pokey stuff out there, and it's cold. And then, if you hunt rifle season, you'll also need a blaze orange safety vest and blaze orange hat. So those are rifle specific things. For archery season, most places you don't need blaze orange, you just need camo. So that is all the camo, other than boots, obviously, that we already own, that we use for the year. That's everything you need to physically hunt the deer. Now, you can absolutely Well, no, there's one more thing. You need to process that deer in the field. So there's one of two ways you're going to do that. Well, as always. This is the way we went to a replaceable blade field knife set. So it's got a big blade and there's like 3 more blades in here. And this is like 20 bucks. It's not terribly expensive. But another option is just your pocket knife. That's what this is, a fixed blade knife that I have. And you can absolutely use that to process the deer in the field. Now, if that's the route you're going to a processor, great. You're going to gut the deer, you're going to take the processor, they're going to handle everything else. We process our deer entirely. From the shot to the freezer, we do all of it. So we do all of our grinding with a KitchenAid mixer attachment. Hopefully this year we'll get a grinder, but it'll probably be next year. But that works well. It's not the best, but it does work well. And then I have this knife kit that my wife bought for me for Christmas a couple of years ago. I've linked it, or I'll post it here in a second. But it's just got everything you need to process a deer in this little box. It's like 40, 50 bucks. It's super cheap, and you can process all your animals with this. It's what we use for rabbits, it's what we use for chickens, it's what we use for deer. We got hog, whatever. This is what I would be using to process that animal. And then there's this guy, which is our hang. So this is from Hunting Made Easy. It's a brand they sell at Atwoods. That comes with the hanger, the pulleys, the rope. We actually hang this up in here in the shop and process our deer in here because we have good light. But this is what you'll use to do all your actual animal processing, to do it yourself. And in my opinion, you should be. Other than that, the only other things that's everything. You can go into the woods, sit on the ground with that camo on, with that crossbow for 3 months out of the year, and with a little bit of luck and a lot of bit of patience, you can put 6 deer in your freezer, which is, I think we averaged 40 pounds of meat per deer. So 120 pounds, so 240 pounds of meat theoretically, maybe more, maybe less, you can put into your freezer. And it's not that expensive. I mean, we're sub $1,000 definitely, and you can spend up to the moon. There are disadvantages to the cheap crossbow. It's heavy. It's a manual, you use a string to pull it back. It doesn't have like a crank, but it worked wonderfully for me. I've shot it a bunch throughout the year as well, and I've had no issues out of it. But that is everything you have to have to get out into the woods and go hunt a deer, or 6 deer, ideally, this year. The last bit of this is going to be things that are nice to have. You don't have to have them. They're just creature comfort kind of deal, right? So the first one is I use this product from Dead Downwind called Wind Detector. It's super, super simple. I got the fan on over here. Take it out and you squeeze it into the air. And it's talcum powder in there. The wind blows it. You can see which direction the wind's blowing, because that is the thing that was the biggest challenge for me to figure out after that first year going into rifle season, was working the wind, because I multiple times would be in my stand or on the ground and see deer start to come towards me, and they would catch my skull in the wind and they're out of there. So that was a great thing to have. I also purchased a rangefinder from a guy I work with. It was 50 bucks from him, obviously. That's cheap. It's like a 15-year-old. This is actually a golf rangefinder. It's not a hunting specific one, but it's good. It's up to 1,500 yards. I'm sighting my bow in at 30 yards because of where I'm hunting. The furthest out I can really reach is about 80 yards, and I know what on my bow I have to shoot in my sight for 80 yards. But this kind of, I get in my stand and I can pick a couple spots so I know kind of where that deer is in front of me with this. If I'm further out, if I'm scouting, if I'm, it's just a really useful tool. Absolutely not a necessity. You can absolutely just get out there, figure out where everything is from you, and get settled in and shoot. I have these are Tasco binoculars. I got these at Bass Pro Shop, Shields for $13. It's a 10x zoom pair of binoculars. These are great for scouting. They're great for seeing stuff further out. they're binoculars. You know what they're for. And they were great, especially in the early season and preseason when I was figuring out where I was going to hunt, to be able to not have to be right on top of where the deer are and be able to see further out. Then we got a decocker, which is a little ring. It's kind of hard to see, but it's just a little ring. They're like $9 at Walmart. Goes onto just an old arrow that I had. This arrow went through the bag, ripped off one of its flights, so it became my decocker. So once you cock a crossbow, pulled the string back and locked it into the trigger, you can't just let it go forward without an arrow in it because it'll blow itself apart with all that energy that it has. So what you do is you put this decocker on an arrow, shoot this into some soft ground, and this keeps the arrow from sinking into the ground and being a pain in the rear to pull out. It'll stop. It goes about that far to the dirt stops. Once again, creature comfort, super cheap, but I definitely recommend it if you're shooting crossbow. If you find yourself shooting a vertical bow, a standard bow, obviously it's not necessary because you can just bring your bow back down. And then two more things. So this bag has my climbing harness in it. I have, you can just see it, it's leaning over there, a one-man tree stand. I thoroughly enjoyed the tree stand, especially for archery season. That's an old one. It's an old Walmart tree stand. It's on the side of our shop. It needs a coat of paint. And they're like 150 bucks, Walmart. Very affordable. But gets you up out of the deer's line of sight, and I enjoyed hunting from it. But in hunting from it, I also bought a harness because I don't like falling out of things. So I have a rope in here that attaches to the tree and a harness in here that attaches to me, and then a tether that goes from me to the rope so that if I were to fall asleep, lean too far forward, whatever, I don't fall on the ground from 16 feet up, which is where that ladder stand puts me. I stay in my seat, which is nice. It's good for you. And that brings me to the last thing to add. Ammo. So, everything I've talked about up to this point is just to go archery hunting. Rifle season in Oklahoma, we get 2 weeks at Thanksgiving, we get 2 weeks at the end of December for an antlerless hunt. My son hunted last year just rifle. He borrowed a rifle from his grandfather. Obviously, it's not going to be an option for everybody, but you don't have to spend a ton. He really liked that rifle, but his grandfather didn't want to sell it to him. So while we're at Shields, he found almost the same thing. It's a Remington 700 chambered 300 Win Mag. Came with an optic already on it, a 1:8 zoom Bushnell, I think it was, scope. And he picked it up for $330 out the door. A great deal. 2 boxes of ammo, a rifle that's got a scope on it that you can get for sub $400 will get you out there for the rifle season. In my opinion, the rifle season is the easiest part of the season. We took 2 deer during rifle season, and as far as the hunt is concerned, it's much less work, but you get much less time. So play that as you will. If you're trying to get out there for the cheapest way possible, I'll tell you now this crossbow is the way to do it. If you want to just get out there and have a really good opportunity for success, rifle may be the way for you. I feel like a lot of people that are on a homestead probably already got some firearms. It's not really a huge talking point for you guys, but it was on my TikTok. Just talking about a couple boxes of ammo and getting out there for rifle season. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole season. I enjoyed the process of processing deer and getting them in the freezer and grinding them. We quartered our deer. We cut some rib meat out for fajitas, and that was about it. It's a pretty straightforward process for us. I recommend it. As far as folks that look at that crossbow and go, well, that's not bow hunting, archery hunting. I understand, but I'll tell you this. I have a Matthews bow sitting over there that's getting refurbished because it hasn't been out to the field in a few years. And it's up at the bow shop right now getting a string put on it. By the time it's all said and done, it gets a string put on it, it gets a new sight, a new whisker biscuit, cleaned and lubed, ready to go back into the field. We'll spend $300 servicing that bow, which is more than the cost of that crossbow, to get it out in the field, not including purchasing the bow. It was way more expensive than that crossbow anyway. So it's just food for thought. You can absolutely get out there with a crossbow and get it done. I feel like the crossbow has more energy on impact, neither here nor there. But if you feel like archery hunters are not hunters I don't have a way to sway you in that. I hope you enjoy your recurve bow and your homemade arrows. But that's my 2 cents. With the way prices in the market are going and the way the beef market looks and is going to be for the next couple of years, I think it's going to be really important for a lot of folks to get out to the woods this year. Deer numbers are good this year. They were not great last year, but we've had so much feed because we've had so much rain. The deer ought to be nice and fat. But yeah, that's what I got today. I got a kitten that's terrorizing me over here. He's just digging around the shop. But I will catch you guys next time. Bye.